What's up everybody, IvanMaltsev here, and yes, welcome back to yet another video. So today I have a very special one for you guys. I'll be telling you about my life as a Russian student studying in Britain. Not only will tell you a bit about British culture, but also give you an inside look on what life will look like for a foreign student in London. Grab some popcorn and enjoy the video. Okay, so let me just set the mood really quickly. It's 28th of August 2021. It's time for me to finally leave Limassol, Cyprus, a city that I lived in for 10 years, and go to sixth form college in England, London. Now, when I was looking for a college to go to, obviously London was up there with the top recommendations, really good colleges here. I'm not going to disclose which college I study in for obviously privacy reasons, but when I was on a plane there, I was nervous, my stomach had butterflies, my head just felt so empty. I was going to a new country, new city. I've been to London before, but when you're here as a tourist, you get a completely different view of the city and of the country itself. So when I was on the plane, I was just trying to kind of gather my thoughts. I couldn't believe it was already happening. The next day, I just spent it in the hotel room, and then the next day afterwards, I went to the college for the first time. I introduced myself to everybody, and I got shown to my dorm, and I spent a few hours here unpacking, and then I went back and spent that night with my parents, and I came here in the morning, and that's it. I was settled in, and the next day my parents left. And I was just, I wouldn't say horrified, but I was, like I said, a bit nervous. Like, I don't know anybody around here, and I quickly started making friends. Here's a top tip. If you're going to start going to a new college, then don't make friends by trying to buy everybody drinks. You'll blow about £200. But I settled in and I got used to the dorm life, and the people on my floor are really nice, and it was all kind of just starting to come together, and I was feeling better about my situation. My first days were just a living nightmare. Academics were hard, but they were not the hardest part. The hardest part of all was navigating around the corridors, and I'll tell you why. The building alone has 18 floors. It is massive. Now, the first 2 floors, that's where actual college happens, and the other 16 are where people live. But the first 2 floors are just huge, and they go round in circles. And it was not unheard of me to miss entire double periods because I was the idiot looking guy wandering around in the hall trying to find the right room. So yeah, at the beginning my attendance was a bit shaky, but obviously everybody understood that I was getting lost all the time, so nobody really said anything. My second issue during my first days was Wi-Fi. My god, like, during my first days, Wi-Fi was horrible. I had to use either 5G, and then the Wi-Fi would go on, and then it would come off again, so it would switch back to 3G. It was a nightmare. And then just making sure my room stays clean was also quite hard. Now here's the thing, I did not have this premium dorm last year. Last year I stayed in the dorm that is literally 5 meters down the hall. I live in the same floor, it's just the premium dorm. I really did have size issues. How funny does that sound? I had to shove stuff into my closet because there was just not enough space. By the way, I had a lot of stuff, and I had to just pray that it wouldn't fall out in the middle of the night, because that would just wake the whole floor up. And last year my room was always messy, and it's really the same case here, but it's bigger, so it's easier to keep it clean. And here's one problem you'll always encounter as a college student living in the college. Your room or your dorm, whatever you want to call it, will always be messy, or will always have some mess in it, no matter how hard you clean it. So don't put in a big effort. Okay, this is gonna be a bit of an interesting one. I'm gonna talk about how I view London, the city itself, as a student. Obviously this place has a lot of history. It's a very multicultural city, has a lot of tourist attractions, landmarks, that we don't care about those because I'm kind of targeting this video towards students. London does have a few big issues, and one of those big issues is weather. Now, when it's summer, it doesn't really rain that often, and it's summer when it's hot, it's really hot. But right now it's January the 14th. January is officially the rainiest month in London, and when it's raining, I want to go to bed, and right now it's constantly raining, so I always want to go to bed. Really hope that makes sense. Watch it back if it didn't. Now, when it's very dark in London, and by the way, it goes dark at like 3:30, you kind of do get the vibe of how depressing the city can be. You see people soaking wet in the rain, some of them without umbrellas or even hoods. You see traffic in central London, especially Westminster, and it's just complete chaos in your mind, like, where am I? The only part of London which I truly love is the part, I believe it's called like London City, where the skyscrapers are situated. These are financial centers, offices, really modern, really progressive. And if you go south, and that's where shit goes down, because you get one to 2-story houses at most. And if you're wearing something that looks a bit attractive, a very nice person wearing a puffer jacket, and under the puffer jacket there will be an Adidas tracksuit, some kind of Nike shoes, maybe a mask, and say, "Oi blood, run me those crepes before I shank you up, fam," which means, mate, give me a shoes before I stab you. Now those are called roadmen. You always want to keep away from those. Doesn't matter if you know martial arts, someone points a knife at you in London, just comply. And yeah, knife crime is a very, very serious issue in London. I heard like someone gets stabbed once every 2 minutes, which is quite terrifying. And I don't really think I have any more issues with London apart from that, you know, it's a great city. Here's another really useful top tip that you will need as a foreign student in London. Why did I just spit everywhere? It's making friends. You will need friends, as I said, or should I say mates. Now, in order to make a friend, now keep in mind this from a perspective of a guy to a guy. You see some guy wandering alone, you come up to him, you ask him what's his name, he tells you his name, and you tell him your name, you just introduce yourself, ask him where he's from and what he's studying, and then just grab a coffee together and ask him for his Instagram, and then bam, you're made a friend. If you're a guy talking to a girl, this is where expertise has to come into play. Now keep in mind, guys and girls, as proven by science multiple times, cannot just be friends. There's either a full-on blown relationship or going on. So you want to be very, very, very careful about what you say to a girl, how you say it, and how you ask her for her Instagram or phone number. Because I mean, this is Western Europe. They're westwards USA looking. Nearly like 90% of the girls here, especially young girls, they're obsessed with feminism. So you might get labeled as a misogynist very, very quickly. Okay, the next top tip is purely to do with academics, and that is like, I cannot stress this enough. When taking notes, that is either from classes or lectures or practicals, it doesn't matter. Just don't make them black and white. Don't just roughly take notes, because at the end of the college year, when it's time for your final exams, you're gonna open up your notepad and you're just gonna go, I have nothing to revise off of. And this kind of happened to me last year. Now here's the thing, last year I didn't like barely pass. I had I guess an okay final passing grade, but I know guys who barely passed and they made this mistake. So please don't be an idiot when it comes to your notes. Okay, there's gonna be 2 tips in one, and it has all to do with revision. Now, I'm one of those people that sometimes, not always, cannot concentrate in their room. So my advice is go to a library, go to a Costa, Starbucks, but somewhere where you can concentrate. Also, please find study methods that work for you. For me, it's just reading stuff and then writing the stuff out. And here's where the second tip comes in. Don't just read something once the night before the exam and think, fuck man, I can just get a PhD in this shit now, I'm an expert. No, you'll forget this in the morning, and by then it will be too late to revise. So please do not do that. Okay, and for the final top tip of today's video, and that is how to manage your time while being in college. Now, as a college student, I've obviously experienced time management problems myself, and that is because you want to get good grades, you know, you want to focus on college, but at the same time you want to have a life outside of college, and that is kind of the most complicated part, balancing the two together so you have time to focus on a hobby you really love. For me, that's Muay Thai, and my best advice for that is have some sort of schedule on your phone, or if you really love decorating your room, maybe on a wall, of what your day will look like, and you have to look at that schedule the night before to kind of know what to expect the next day. Maybe you will think that this will not help you because it's just your timetable. It will help you massively because you can mentally prepare for what's coming. Anyways guys, I really hope you did enjoy watching this video. If you want more videos like this, please like this video, subscribe, I'll give you a big kiss on the forehead, and I'll be doing a college room tour at 100 subscribers, so please get me there. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers fellas.